Hello all you lovely people and welcome to another video of mine. Now I may end up sounding like a TV commercial in this one, but hey, if you're out in the market to buy a gaming machine, if you are confused between getting a PlayStation 5 or a PC, if you cannot get your hands on a PlayStation 5, unfortunately, still in 2022, man, that's surprising, but hey, that really is the case, at least here in India, it's still so difficult to get. So, in case you're wondering, what machine should I put my hard-earned money on? A PC or a PlayStation 5? Well, my friends, you've come to the right video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the configuration. Not so much, but hey, I'm going to throw it out there. Apart from that, I am also going to talk about the real-world experience and why you should select one machine over the other. So with that said, let's get started, folks. Now, generally, people would start with other things and they would probably discuss about the price towards the end. But hey, here comes the hand model. That's me, all right? So I'm going to be talking about the price first before I get on to the other points, all right? So it's very important that you understand the price dynamics. Now, it's no rocket science here. The PlayStation 5 is a far more cheaper device in comparison to a PC because, hey, if you are out in the market to get a decent mid-range gaming laptop or a gaming PC, it is going to cost you at least $1,600 to $2,000. Yeah? Oops, don't want to get into copyright issues, but yeah, it is going to cost you that much. Now, when it comes to a PlayStation 5, hey, you can get a digital version of this PlayStation 5 for as low as $400. That is, if you can get your hands on it. Now, there are two versions that you get in PlayStation 5. One is an all-digital version, and one is the one which comes with a disk drive. Now, the one that I have is the one with a disk drive. But although I purchased this with the disk drive, let me tell you from my personal experience, you don't really need it. And with the new PlayStation Plus, with the extra and the premium or the deluxe, it makes a case for you to go for the digital version even more. So I think the disc version is kind of irrelevant in this scene. So I'm mainly talking about the $400 version console. So you're talking about a machine which costs $400 only in this case, and you're comparing it with a mid-range gaming laptop which probably would come at around $1,600 to $2,000. Now that obviously depends on the configuration of the machine. You can get machines which are far less expensive as well. For instance, if you go on line and try to get a machine with a 10th gen Intel i5 processor with a RTX 3060, then you can get some of those machines for as low as $1,000 as well. It's tough to really put a price tag on a PC because it's so open, you know, it's not like a closed price tag that you can put like you can on a PlayStation 5. With a PC, you obviously have those many options, and the more, you could say, deeper your pockets are, the more you get to spend on your PC. And you can have like this mammoth machine which can run basically anything that your PlayStation 5 or your Xbox Series X can, and at a much better level. So in terms of pricing, obviously the PlayStation 5 will be a much more economical option given the fact that it's only coming at $400 for the digital version. Now, I am going to be comparing this to my laptop moving forward in this video, and let me give you some of the specs of my laptop as well. Now, for instance, I have the Asus ROG Strix G15 Advantage Edition from 2021. So this beauty here, it has an AMD Ryzen 9 with a 5900HX processor, and apart from that, it also has the RX 6800 graphic card, which is a 12 GB graphic card. So I would say it's quite a decent machine. It's no slouch. You can run a lot of AAA titles in 60 FPS on this gaming laptop. Now, if I compare it with the configuration, so I've already moved on from price to configuration if you haven't already noticed that. So if I can compare the PC configuration, the laptop machine of mine, over to the PlayStation configuration, then the PlayStation also is no slouch. But hey, it comes with 8-core Zen 2 CPU with an RDNA2 based GPU. It has 36 compute units, and it has 16 GB of memory, which is shared between the CPU and the GPU. And even on my laptop, I have only 16 GB of memory, but my graphic card is say about 12 GB. That's quite a lot for a gaming laptop, especially a mid-range gaming laptop. And this cost me around $1,900 if I kind of convert Indian rupees to US dollars. So now you can't really build a PC or even get a laptop for the price of a PlayStation 5. And the PlayStation 5, if I really have to kind of do like an apples to apples comparison, it's difficult, but to give you context, all right? Now, the PlayStation 5's configuration is equivalent to that of a PC, which comes with, let's say, Ryzen 7, I think 3700 maybe X, and a RX 5700. So it's not really great on paper, in case you're wondering, hey, that's not good at all. But here's the thing, the PlayStation 5 is a much more closed platform. So what the developers can do is that they can actually take advantage of this closed system to better optimize the games. Now, please note that the console is only for gaming purposes, whereas on a PC, you can do so much more. On a PC, the PC or the laptop is basically a workhorse. You can email, you can work on PowerPoint, on Office 365, you can code on your PC as well, but your PlayStation 5 here is a system which is dedicated to gaming and gaming only. So that's why the developers, when they work on games for these consoles, whether it's PlayStation 5 or whether it's Xbox, they kind of really take advantage of whatever hardware there is, but they optimize the games so that they look far, far better than what they would, all right? So if I really have to do an apples to apples comparison, it's difficult, but I think this should give you an understanding between the price and the configuration bit when I compare a PlayStation 5 to a PC. Now, let me also tell you, this is not a fair comparison, but hey, everything is fair in love and war. So this is a war between the PlayStation 5 and the PC. So here we are, we're making this video on it. So let me move on to some other points, like for instance, what are the things that you can do with a PC that you can't on the PlayStation 5, for instance. Let's talk about the game library, all right? And what games are available on the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation 5 doesn't really have as big a library as you would with a PC. Now, the games are definitely limited because on your PlayStation 5, you can only play games which span 2 generations. I mean, most of them. There are games that you can play from your PSP and your PS3 as well, but that's over the cloud. But in terms of backwards compatibility, in terms of the game libraries, the PlayStation 5 definitely takes a backseat, and the PC, if I really compare it to the PC, well, hey, there is no comparison, because with a PC, for instance, you have access to Epic Games, you have access to Steam, and with Steam, if I go over to the store, there are so many games that are available, and so many of them are really old titles. So you get to play games which are from 2009, 2008, and they run really well on your PC compared to your PlayStation 5. Now, PlayStation 5, these games would not even be available. For instance, games like, if I go over to my library, I like playing old titles. So if I pick up something like, let's say, Star Wars, The Force Unleashed, all right? So this game runs beautifully on a PC. But if I wanted to play it on my PlayStation 5, now I would find it very difficult to even find it on the PlayStation 5. Even games which are like the Assassin's Creed 1, of course, that's available on your PlayStation 5 as well. Even on your Xbox, it's available. But it's what you can do with the game. Now, what do I mean by that? For instance, if I head over to a game like Assassin's Creed, all right? Now, this is all real world experience, okay? It's tough to talk about specs on paper because at the end of the day, it's your real world experience that actually matters more than the specs on paper. So I'm just gonna grab my controller here, and speaking of the controller, what I'm doing is I'm using a PlayStation 4 controller in this case. So what I was trying to say is it's what you can actually do with your games on the PC. All right, that's what is important. Now, on your PC, you have so many graphic options, which you would not get. So here, if I go over to graphics options, and I may have to reduce the brightness of the screen, all right? So let me reduce the ISO very quickly so that it becomes a little more clearer. All right, so here you can see there is so much that you have control on, like the texture quality, shadow quality, the reflection quality, the character quality, and multi-sampling, VSync, and you can choose the resolution as well. So a PC will always give you that flexibility in terms of what you want to run the game on. Now with the PlayStation 5, you don't have that many options. It's only the newer games which have now come up with an option of playing in a performance mode or in a quality mode. Performance mode generally has the game running at 60 FPS, and even on the PlayStation 5, it runs at, most of the games, they run at around 1440p. So that's like a mid-range gaming laptop, right? I mean 1440p with 60 FPS. And you have a quality option as well, quality mode, where you can play the game in, let's say, 4K in some titles, provided the game allows it. And then those games run at, say, about 30 FPS mostly. I mean, you do have exceptions where the game runs at 4K 60 FPS as well. But hey, the amount of options that you have on the PlayStation 5 is kind of limited. So even if I move over to the PlayStation 5, for instance, and if I pick up a game here, and let's say I pick up a game like Spider-Man, for instance. This is a good example because very recently Spider-Man had an update, and even after that update, all right, you still have limitations as to what you can do with the kind of options that you have, the graphical options that you have in a game. All right, so if I go over to the settings, for instance, all right, here you see it has a performance mode, RT, performance fidelity mode. So that's about it, and nothing more than that. So a PC, if I really have to compare a PC over to my PlayStation 5, it has so much more that you can do on your PC, all right? So even if I pick up some other game, Ghostwire Tokyo, this is a good example as well, all right? So in terms of what you can do with your configuration on your PC, there's just so much, all right? Now I'm gonna talk, speaking of Ghostwire Tokyo, now this game was an exclusive to the PlayStation consoles, but hey, it was because it's also available on the PC, which brings me to the next point as well. I do want to talk about that exclusivity because we are talking about game libraries, right? So it's only fair that I actually talk about exclusivity in terms of game titles as well. But again, let me give you an example of, before I jump onto the exclusivity bit, I just want to talk about this last bit in terms of the flexibility that you get with the graphical options on your PC. So now I'm using the controller, by the way, and here you see you have an option of choosing the resolution. You have VSync on, frame rate cap is unlimited, all right. The motion blur quality you can choose, the SSS quality, the SSR quality. You even have ray tracing on, ray trace shadow quality. I'd put it off, but you know, you can turn it on. So there's just so much. I mean, just take a look at it. It's incredible, right? And speaking of exclusivity, since we are talking about game libraries, now there was a time when a lot of these titles were available only on your PlayStation. But if I head over to, let's say, Epic Games as well, in addition to Steam, all right? So this is Steam, but if I head over to Epic Games, now you have so many of these PlayStation 5 titles that are available on your PC as well. Now, for instance, God of War, all right? It used to be a PS console exclusive, but now it's available on PC as well. Let me get over here, all right? So God of War, there you have it. So God of War is available on your PC, and not just that, you know, games like Detroit, Being Human, which is again another console exclusive. Now even this is available here. In fact, Spider-Man, I was talking about Spider-Man just a few minutes back, right? Spider-Man's coming to the PC as well. And so if we really talk about exclusivity, I think a lot of the games that were available only on your PlayStation is now also available on PC. So for instance, if I type in Sifu, all right, another PlayStation exclusive in terms of consoles, but hey, you have that on the PC, all right? Yeah, I know it has mature content. So here you have Sifu. Now, apart from that, Kana, right? Another PS console exclusive. This is also available on the PC. So with the passage of time, you could say a lot of these PS exclusives have started moving over to the PC as well. Now, there has been an outcry as well because a lot of PS fanboys, they kind of don't like the idea of these games coming over to PC. Now, hey, as a gamer, as an average Joe, I love the fact that it's also available on PC because it gives us gamers more options to play around with. Whichever device we want to play it on, we have that option. So I kind of appreciate that all these games are also coming to the PC. Now, Spider-Man is also due to come out in a few months. So even that is going to be available on PC. It's incredible. And there are a lot of other exclusive PS exclusives like Days Gone. All right, haven't spoken about that, but that is also available on PC. So in terms of game libraries, the PC wins hands down simply because of the fact that number one, in terms of backwards compatibility, you can play so many of those older titles with so many of those graphic options that I showed you. All right. Number two, exclusivity. No, not really, because we've seen that most of the PlayStation exclusives are also available on the PC with more coming. So even in terms of the exclusivity factor, hey, it cannot compete with the PC. Number three, it's only of late that PlayStation actually came up with the subscription model with the PlayStation Plus Extra and Deluxe or Premium, but it was always available on PC in the form of Game Pass. Yes, Game Pass was also available on the PC. So if I had to choose these games from Game Pass, I wouldn't really have to pay any extra money apart from the subscription fees, that is, to be able to download these games and play them on my PC. So you have a lot of really great titles like the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, some of the recent ones. Then you had the Avengers, you have Mortal Kombat 11 included as well. So if you take a look at it, I mean, there are so many games here and it's all gonna give you those graphical options, right? So it's not like PlayStation has done something revolutionary with PlayStation Plus Extra, Deluxe or Premium, because it was already available on Xbox and even the PC. So even in terms of playing some of these games without paying that extra money for these titles, because all you gotta pay is just the subscription fees, hey, even that is available. The way I look at it, let me give you an analogy here. I look at PlayStation as being like the Apple of the gaming world because it kind of does things a lot later. For instance, a lot of these Android phones and cheap Android phones as well, they have 120 Hz refresh rate, but the iPhone still doesn't have it. And I'm sure, maybe I'm kind of hoping that with the iPhone 14, they're going to be taking out a higher refresh rate in their Pro Max models at least. But hey, the Android phones have already done it. And similarly, the PC and the Xbox has already done what you're doing now after years and years of them really excelling at this. So the way I look at it in terms of game libraries, all right, the PC, no competition at all. And plus with the PC, you also have Game Pass, all right? And let me tell you, even in terms of pricing, even if you don't want to subscribe to Game Pass, all right, in terms of Steam, or in terms of Epic Games, they have, free games as well. Epic Games, they run a free game almost every week, all right? So you have like one free game every week, and that's incredible. Now, in terms of Steam, they keep running these sales. So if you take a look at the pricing of these gaming titles, some of them are really, really competitively priced. For instance, The Witcher, Wild Hunt 3, it was 160 Indian rupees. That's 160 Indian rupees. Now it's not even $2. That's how cheap this is, all right? And that's a great title, by the way. And you take a look at this Horizon, all right? This is the first one, not the second one, obviously. So this is also a PS exclusive, was a PS exclusive, which is also available on the PC. So in terms of, again, game libraries, hey, no comparison whatsoever. The PC wins hands down. Okay, I do very quickly want to talk about the controllers as well. Now, I've already spoken about it a teeny weeny bit, but hey, with the PC, you can connect a PlayStation 4 controller like the one that I have out here, or even an Xbox controller. So, or any third-party controller that you can get your hands on, as long as it has Bluetooth. You can connect it with your PC, and it works like a charm. Whether it's Steam, whether it's Epic Games, it works like you would play it on a console. So you have more options, you could say, when it comes to connecting a controller with your PC, because it's not restricting you to just a DualShock controller or your Xbox controller, but even third-party options. So even there, the PC actually has an advantage. Now, obviously, the PlayStation 4 controller is great. The PlayStation 5 controller that I have here, even that is fantastic. So I kind of miss playing with the PlayStation 5 controller, because with the PlayStation 5 controller, I think it's even better than the Xbox controller. I mean, in my personal opinion, it's just fantastic. I mean, there's just a lot of great tech, that you have on a PlayStation 5 controller. But hey, you have the flexibility and the options of using more controllers that you can connect with your PC. So I kind of wanted to throw that in as well. Okay, so finally, let me conclude on this video now. Again, circling back to what I started this video with, in terms of pricing, obviously with the PlayStation 5, you are getting your money's worth, okay? Because at $400, it's giving you a lot more than what a PC would give in terms of gaming only, all right? So this footage that you're right now watching is actually from the PC. So I'm playing Ghostwire Tokyo on my PC, and with medium to high settings, with ray tracing on, it's giving me anything between 35 to maybe 45 FPS, all right, which is not bad. So medium to high settings, again, ray tracing has been turned on. The shadow quality is, I believe, medium. So it's not that bad. Now, you will get a very similar output with a machine which costs maybe 4 times less than this. The one that I have is worth $1,900, like I pointed out. So at just $400 with the PlayStation 5, you can get as good a picture quality on screen. If you are coupling it with a good TV, with a good 4K TV, then obviously you can get a very good output. All right. So in terms of pricing, if it's only gaming that you want to do, the PlayStation 5 is definitely a great option. But with a PC, the advantage that you have is that it gives you access to Game Pass Ultimate. So you kind of get a feel of both platforms. So you get games which are available on Xbox Series X, S, and you get the games available on the PlayStation as well. So it kind of saves you money in that space, all right? Because if you want to experience both the platforms, that means you have to buy, let's say, a PlayStation 5 and then an Xbox Series X or S as well, which is going to cost you another $400 to $500, yeah? So if I kind of round it off, owning 2 consoles so that you can experience both the platforms, it's going to cost you anything between $800 to $900, depending on which console you're taking, like Series S or X, all right? But that's the cost of 2 platforms that you're investing in, all right? Now the PC, there are options where you can play at medium settings. There are options where you still get 60 FPS with RTX 3060, a Core i5, let's say hexa-core processors that you can get your hands on in as low as $1,000. So if you want to experience both platforms, all right, you do have options in gaming laptops as well as gaming PCs where you can have that configuration and still experience these games, still experience both the platforms, all right? So unlike my laptop here, this cost $1,900 US dollars, but hey, there are cheaper alternatives as well, because this is a RX 6800 12GB graphic card and the Ryzen 9 5900HX, all right? But if you go for a cheaper variant, like I said, hexa-core processors with the RTX 3060 by NVIDIA, then hey, those machines, you can still run these games in medium settings. And the best part is that you get to experience both the PlayStation games and the Xbox games. So that's the advantage that you have of getting a PC. And if you get a low-end gaming laptop or a low-end gaming PC, then that's the advantage, all right? But here's the thing. Now on PlayStation 5 and on Series X or X, you can't really upgrade your hardware. Now this is where the PC really kind of aces it, because let's say 3 years down the line, all right, there are games which kind of demand more from your console or from your machine. On a PC, you always have an option of upgrading. Now, of course, I'm making this video comparing the PlayStation 5 to my laptop, but hey, in theory, on a laptop as well, I can always upgrade my RAM, I can upgrade my memory very easily. But on a PlayStation 5, okay, if you want to play PlayStation 5 exclusives, then you have to get yourself an NVMe SSD with heatsink, and those cost a bomb, okay? Now on my PC, on the other hand, even if I connect an external SSD, I will still be able to play the current gen titles, or the next gen titles as you would call it, all right? So Ghostwire Tokyo, it's a PS5 exclusive, right? As far as consoles go. On my PC, I can play this with an external SSD. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. The game is stored on an external SSD. And that doesn't cost me as much as an NVMe SSD with a heatsink. So that's really expensive. And the upgrading options are so much more simpler, because I can put in a higher RAM configuration on my laptop. And in terms of my PC, I can take it a notch above, all right? I can upgrade my storage, I can upgrade my RAM. So there's so much that you can do. And with the passage of time, of course, better RAM technologies will come out as well. So provided your motherboard supports it, they, can take advantage of the future SSDs as well. So in terms of upgrades, again, PC really nails it. But let me tell you that the PlayStation 5 is a very capable console. And don't get me wrong, if you just want a game, it's so good, so good. But if you want to do more than gaming, and plus if you want to experience both the Xbox Series XS titles and the PlayStation titles, plus you want to use it for something more, like for working or for doing something else like coding, etc., then in that case, a PC definitely makes more sense than a PlayStation 5. So hey, let me know what you think about this video. If you feel that I've missed out on something, then let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And also, if you have any questions, then I would be very happy to answer those questions as soon as I can. And if you've liked the content, I will appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button, and also that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Now with that said, it's a wrap for this one, and I will see you lovely folks in my next video. Until that time, I'll say take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.